Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Field of 68's last call.
What's your go-to Applebee's order?
I don't go to Applebee's. We actually call it Crapplebee's, to be honest.
Who's the better team right now, Creighton, Marquette, or UConn?
What are you doing? What is that? Pray for Fanta. Oh, come on, Zach. Here we go. It's last call.
Welcome to the Monday evening edition of Last Call. My name is Rob Dosser. I have with me Jarrell McNeil, Marquette star, and I have with me Tyler Hansbrough, the North Carolina legend. We are the Field of 68, and for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be here on the Stadium YouTube channel, answering questions that you throw us in the YouTube chat. So we're going to kick things off here, guys. The first question we have coming in from Justin, it's a normal one tonight, Tyler. I don't know how long it's going to be normal, but it's normal for now. Over under 1.5 Big Ten teams that make it to the Sweet 16 this year. That basically means Purdue, and who else is making it to the Sweet 16? Tyler, we'll go to you first.
Just Purdue. There's nobody else capable in the Big Ten of making the Sweet 16. Let's see here. Yeah, that's where I'm with them.
Jarrell?
I'm going to say over. Wisconsin might have a shot. They might have a shot. I don't believe in it, but I'm going to say over.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go with the over here. I think Wisconsin's going to find a way to get. Every time I watch them play, I buy into Wisconsin a little bit more. I think part of it is the veterans they have coming back. I think part of it is the defense. I think part of it is the freshman, the Blackwell kid that they have has been better than I thought he would. But more than anything else, it's been the addition of AJ Storr, who's just like a big athletic scorer on the wing and a guy that I don't think that we've really seen from Wisconsin in recent years. You know, he's a little bit of a different player, but it's kind of the same dynamic as when Sam Decker was there, where you just had a guy that could go to the rim and get fouled and go to the rim and elevate and finish over or around people. And it's not necessarily something that you usually equate with Wisconsin Badgers basketball. So I'm in on them, man. I think that they're really, really good. And I think that they have a chance to be able to win a couple games. I don't think they're Final Four good because I don't know if they necessarily have like the NBA talent, the NBA upside. But I think that they're the kind of team that's going to probably beat who they're supposed to beat and then maybe lose to the teams that they're supposed to lose to. I just don't see them getting upset, and they look like they're on track for like a 3-seed or a 4-seed or something like that. So I'm in with them. Here's another one. Over under, Jarrell, 5.5 Big East teams making it into the NCAA tournament. That comes from John.
Initially, I said that 5 would get in, but I'm taking the over. We've had some really good, pleasant surprises from a couple of these teams that were treading water early in a non-conference and didn't have a ton of really quality wins. I think we get 6 in, and I think we'll, depending on how things go, we might be on the cusp of sneaking 7, maybe sneaking 7. But I think we were going to get 6 in for sure. I think it'll be Marquette, UConn, Creighton, Nova will get in, St. John's will get in. God, who else?
I'm going to put Seton Hall in there as well.
Seton Hall,
yes.
The Hall is getting in.
Yeah. And then I'll say that there's a chance that to get to 7, it's going to be one of Providence.
Butler, Xavier
finds a way. I don't know if Xavier will. They took too many bad losses
Xavier,
in the non-conference.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you're going to sit here and tell me that Sean Miller finds a way to win 4 in a row in Madison Square Garden in the Big East tournament, like, are you going to sit there and say no? I mean, it's Sean Miller. It's the Big East tournament, man. I think that there's a chance he could do it. But one of Providence or Butler, I think, will find a way to be able to get it done. And Tyler, the Pac-12 might be a one big league. So where do you stand? Big East, over 5.5 teams.
I'm taking the over. Like you guys just said, Creighton, Marquette, UConn, Villanova, St. John, Seton Hall, and Xavier could find a way to get in there. Sean Miller's an unbelievable coach. I think that's realistic, and I actually believe in that.
All right. So this question comes from Nathan. It is, will we see Donovan Clingan play this week? So for the people that didn't watch UConn beat Georgetown on Sunday afternoon, Donovan Clingan went through like the full warm up. He's right about, I think today is, or Wednesday when they play Creighton at home, is exactly 4 weeks from when he injured his foot at Seton Hall, and it was initially given as a 3 to 4 week injury. Dan Hurley has kind of been teasing that there's a chance that Clingan could end up being back this week. He hinted at it a little bit before the Georgetown game. He said we're on game time decision watch. I guess he's moving without all that much pain right now, but I say it's probably more likely than not that we see him in one of these two games. I don't know if he's necessarily going to start, but the only thing that I'll say is that once you get past at Villanova on Saturday, UConn has 8 days off before they have to play Xavier at home. So I don't think that you push him too much. And you guys tell me if you disagree with this. I think, one, you listen to the doctors, Tyler, and two, I don't know if you necessarily push him that much, knowing that you have 8 days off afterwards, when what really matters for UConn, what really matters for college basketball is what happens in the month of March, and you want him ready to go then.
100% agree. I would take the conservative route with Clingan. And the reason I say that, not only is it, the smart move because this has been a lingering issue, but also big men and feet. I think that you run the potential of re-injuring if you're kind of playing or rushing somebody back, especially Clingan's size. But also, I think if you do wait and sit out one more game, then you have this big break. I also think it gives Clingan a chance to get in shape and get game ready. And I think when you're in shape and you've had a few practices, I think it gives you confidence to play, but also you don't risk the chance of an injury, or also, having another injury. I think when you rush an injury, I think sometimes people don't understand, you compensate on your other leg and you run the potential of injuring something else. Why not just wait it out and let them get in shape and play at 100%? I think that's better for UConn.
Jarrell?
Listen, Tyler, you said great minds think alike, because he took the words right out of my mouth. Listen, you don't fuck around with big guys in their feet, man. Leave them alone. Do everything you can to make it to that 8-day stretch. Give him more time if needed, even if he is ready, if he feels fine, man. Give it a little bit more time, man, especially for a guy like him. He's got so much more basketball ahead of him at the pro level as well, too, man. Rest him up. Try to get him fully healthy. Once he gets to that 8-day stretch, it's different when you're hurt anyway, because I'm sure he'll be in the gym rehabbing and conditioning every day either way. So try to get to that 8-game stretch. Right now, they don't have a whole lot to lose anyway, because they're sitting kind of pretty. So
yeah, and I don't know if you guys know all that much about Clingan, but he's not one of these guys that's wired to be sitting on the bench. I've said before, I think they need to put a seatbelt on him when he's on the bench, because all that jumping around, he's going to re-sprain his foot. Celebrating every single thing that happens on the court for his teammates. He's a good teammate, man, but like, come on, sit down. There was a thing on campus when he first injured his foot that everyone would try to give him rides all over the place, and all he wanted to do was walk outside when it was like nice out in late September. And everyone's like, dude, you can get a golf cart wherever you want to go. Get in the golf cart. Stop walking around. We will give you rides. Call an Uber. Stop walking. Get your foot healthy. All right, this one's I got to think about this one a little bit. But if there was a rookie of the year for head coaches, Jarrell, who would you give the rookie of the year coaching award to right now? This one's kind of tough.
Yeah, that is. I'm trying to think of a rookie head coach. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know if I got a rookie head coach who's in the first year on the gig right now in the NCAA that's doing.
I know it's putting us on the spot. Producer Trevor is giving us the tough questions here.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to circle back for that one. I have no idea.
You know what I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Grant McCasland at Texas Tech, and the reason I'm gonna go with Grant McCasland at Texas Tech is because I just went down the rankings, and they were the first team that I saw that has a first year head coach, and I couldn't think of anything else on the spot. What about Rick Pitino, St. John's? Tyler, give me a pick. Grant McCasland or Rick Pitino? Who you got? Rookie coach of the year.
I'm going Rick Pitino, but what's the guy from Providence? Kim English, I think is his name.
Kim English,
I think he's had some big wins, and I know they had an injury to one of their key players, but I think he's done a pretty good job in sustaining that. So he would get my vote.
All right. Well, listen, when we get back, we're going to talk about DePaul, Gigi Jackson, Big Z, so many more questions. Welcome back to Monday's Last Call here on Stadium and the Stadium YouTube channel. My name is Rob Doster. I have Tyler Hansborough. I have Jarrell McNeil, and we are the Field of 68. And we will be here for the next about 19 minutes answering your questions, which is longer than Nick Sirianni sat in his press conference answering questions from the media after the Eagles lost tonight against the Buccaneers. Dagan Hughes, thoughts are with you, my man. Now, tough loss, man. Tough way to go out. 6 weeks ago, they were the Super Bowl favorites. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. The first question we have coming in from Nick is, what are your guys' thoughts on the Big Z situation at Kentucky? So for people that don't know, Kentucky has a freshman from Croatia on their bench named Zvonimir Ivisic. I hope I got your name correct. I always struggle with those names. Who has not been cleared by the NCAA yet. It's been obvious that there's been an issue with his NCAA eligibility since he got here. There were questions about whether or not he'd ever be allowed to be eligible before he arrived. And then Coach Cal on a podcast with Coach K, which I believe was recorded on Sirius XM, is that the issue has to do with stipends that Big Z received when he was playing for the pro team in Croatia that he played for before coming to Kentucky. This is the quote from Coach Cal that matters. Ivisic made a stipend, and you're the NCAA saying it was too much of a stipend. Juniors in high schools and seniors in high school are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're talking about $200. A stipend of $200 is too much. We've got to move on with the times and what's going on now is what Coach Cal said. Jarrell, I know you don't have probably too much information on this, but is this something that should be in an era of NIL? Should we be worried about a player coming from overseas that received a stipend to play for a pro team?
I guess it's a bit of a slippery slope. Kind of what Coach Cal said makes perfect sense when you got guys essentially, and I know it's at least just from dealing with it on a high school level, it's kind of a state by state thing now because some of these states have legalized NIL for high school kids. Like he said, it's guys that are in high school already, making $100,000, $50,000, whatever it may be. It just doesn't really seem like the smartest thing in the world to try to hold a kid out because of a stipend at that. I would have thought, if anything, that the fact that he was playing on a pro team would maybe get him caught with some eligibility issues. But just for the stipend, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's a lot of money floating around these days. At the end of the day, I'll let the experts figure it out, the NCAA. So.
You are the expert, Jarrell. You're on the field of 68 after dark, man. You are the
No,
expert.
not when
People are
not
coming to
not when
you
it
for the
comes to eligibility. Not when it comes to eligibility.
Tyler, what do you think?
I don't even think the NCAA knows what to do with eligibility. The way they've handled the transfer portal, the 2 times transfers, and the way they move at a snail's pace, and it's absolutely ridiculous with some of these rulings and how long they make these kids wait before they actually make a decision. I actually feel sorry for this kid, and I actually agree with Coach Cal. If it is for $200, this kid should be playing, and they need to get with the times. And my whole thing with the NCAA is they've never really provided much clarity when it comes to situations like this. And those people at the NCAA playing those roles or have these jobs, they make significant money and they can move much faster and provide us with much more clarity and understanding of why these kids are sitting out. And I think we'd have a much better understanding what's going on. But a lot of these issues are so unclear because they don't feed us any information and they move so slow on things. So I would agree with Cal. I don't think this is an issue. And I know that they handle a lot of the international players much differently than they do, the U.S. kids, which I think is wrong in itself. And, I think this kid Z should be playing if that is the case.
Yeah, it's tough to know what the actual facts are in this without knowing what the actual facts are in this. But if he's only got a couple of $100 in a stipend, like you're really going to make him sit out the entire season? Give him the suspension. Like John Wall got a 3-game suspension for $800 or something like that when he's a freshman, right? Give him whatever the suspension would be. Say that he's already served his time, right? Give him time served and let the kid play. Like who cares? Nobody cares. No one cares anymore about whether or not to play. As long as they're not like actual pros coming back, as long as Luka Doncic isn't coming from Real Madrid and going and suiting up for North Carolina, I think we're going to be okay. All right, we got to go to the Chicago guy on this one. Will DePaul ever make another NCAA tournament again? That comes from Holtz. Jarrell, what do you got?
It probably won't be in my lifetime. when they make their return, I'm sure I'll be long gone. But yeah, I mean, the DePaul is a dumpster fire. It's sad to say because it's actually a pretty storied program. Being a Chicago guy,
You know
knowing
what,
the
Jarrell?
history,
Let me ask you
knowing
this:
some of the people.
if you're the decision maker making the next hire, whenever they move on from Tony Stubblefield, assuming they move on from Tony Stubblefield, right? Who would you go after? And like, maybe not even just the name, like what kind of coach can make it work at DePaul?
I'll tell you, they should have hired probably Dennis Gates when they had the chance. Would have made sense the year he took the job at Missouri. I think it would have made sense at least, but I'm not exactly sure what name to go after because at this point it's probably not the most appeasing job for outside coaches looking in, but at the same time it does have some perks. They have their location has always been an issue. The campus is up north. They used to play their games when we were in school at All State Arena, whatever the hell the name was after they done changed it 40 times, which is even further up north. But now they play going back on the south side of the city. So it's just like it's a major disconnect. That's always been an issue. But I think you got to go and try to find a really good guy that's going to be connected. At the end of the day, you're not going to win at DePaul if you don't get good kids or good players from Chicago, and that's been a major disconnect for a long time. They're not recruiting the area, they're not getting it done, and they're not coming to get any of these guys. And at this point, the kids in Chicago have no interest, and they look at DePaul, almost like a mid-major, just like, oh, no thanks, I'll pass on that. So they need to find somebody that'll do something with it.
I think you make an argument that there's more talent at Chicago State with the 2 kids that are the overtime elite kids than there is at DePaul, which is it's not something I ever thought that I would say. I'm going to handle this question, Trevor. It's from Jalen. Thoughts on G.G. Jackson balling out in the NBA tonight? For those that didn't see it, he had 23 points. He was 5 for 8 from 3. I think he was 6 for 9 from the floor. He had an interview that went viral because he reacted the way that any just turned 19-year-old would react when they heard Shaquille O'Neal talking to him in an interview, which was actually kind of endearing. G.G. Jackson was the youngest player in Division I last year. When you watched him play at a South Carolina team that won, I think they won like 9 games or something like that, that they were bad. he was too young. He didn't know what he was doing, but you could see the talent. And everything I've heard about him is that he's a good kid and a nice kid. And it's nice to see him to be able to get to the league, get a chance, and succeed with that opportunity. I love seeing guys that have been written off find a way to get it done. So congrats to GG Jackson. If this was an NBA show, he would be the toast of the night. Listen, when we get back, the questions are going to start getting weird. Tyler Hansbrough is ready for it. Buckle up. Welcome back to Monday evening edition of Last Call. My name is Rob Doster. I have Tyler Hansbrough. I have Jarrell McNeil. We are the Field of 68, and we're going to be answering your questions for about the next 8 minutes. You can fire some away in the chat. I don't know if we're going to get to them because I could already tell you that what we are going to talk about and what we have been asked are going to be conversation starters. So, Jarrell, since we got 2 animal questions coming up next, and Tyler is our noted Field of 68 animal expert here, I'm going to go to you first on this one. It comes from Justin. If the Field of 68 crew was in a horror movie, who would be the first to die and who would be the one that survived in the end?
Oh shit. Oh man. I mean, well, okay. First of all, let me say that I'm an actual absolute horror guru. It's my favorite genre of movie.
Here we
As
go.
weird as that may sound.
I need your full
So
breakdown,
I'll
man.
say
Give me the full
this:
scouting report here.
the first person that's gonna die. Think about this to make sure I don't miss it. It's got to be one of the black guys. So it's either me, RC, or John. You know, they're gonna kill all. We're not gonna listen to me. We're not gonna make it to the end of the movie. This is just how it goes. Let's just be real about it. It's okay because I can say it, you know, obviously. So, yeah, who survives? I mean, hey, look, I like Tyler's chances though. The last time I watched you guys, he was talking about wrestling bears and alligators. So I take his chances. I know Tyler's a strong big dude. So I'll say one of us is gonna be dead first. Absolutely.
Jarrell, that's not where I saw that conversation going, but okay, here we are.
I couldn't help it, Rob.
The first one to die, without a doubt, is going to be Jeff Goodman. Okay, he doesn't have the stamina to run. He's not a fighter, right? I've seen him throw something in his life. Like he's not. He just the athleticism isn't there. Like he's without a doubt going to be the first one to go. You know who's going to survive? You know who's going to find a way to pull this out? It'll be Chris Mack. Chris Mack's sneaky, man. Chris Mack's sneaky. You know who else? I would not put it past Randolph Childress to find a way to get it done. There's a little bit of cold-bloodedness there, Tyler. Who you got?
I agree with you. I think Goodman would be the first to go, but I have a curveball. I think Fanta would be one of the few standing at the end. I think he would be there. I like T.O. I like RC. I think he could be in competition with me of a few of the last people standing. But I agree. I think Goodman, he would definitely be the first. Dawson, I think you would fall probably in the middle of the pack somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Middle of the pack.
And
I can outrun some people, but once the going gets tough, like I'm not,
Stay,
I'm not
stay away from
I'm
those
not gonna
gummies.
cut it all out. Sometimes you got to take the easy way out, right? The last thing I'll say about Fanta is there's a non-zero chance that Fanta ends up being the Freddy Krueger of the movie, right? Fanta could end up being the killer. You never really know what's going on there with Fanta. All right, Tyler, this comes from Jerry. Which animal intimidates you more, a snake or a crocodile?
I would say a crocodile. And the reason I say crocodile is because usually when you run into some crocs, you're in the water. And, I'm not a big fan of the water and ran into a croc. So I think that chances of seeing a snake would be on land, and I like my chances there. I have the ability to get away, but I do think the crocs could swim under the water and sneak attack me. So that would make me vulnerable.
I need some clarity on the kind of snake here, though. That's my thing. Like, are we talking about one of those little like garden snakes that you see in your backyard, or are we talking like one of the cobras that stand up like this, right? Are we talking like an anaconda? What are we talking about here? Because there's a big difference. There's a big difference, Sherrod.
So there is
I
a
don't
big
care
difference.
for either one of the choices.
I'm not messing with the snake either. And that's the reason I say I think I have the ability to get away from a snake. But by no means am I messing with any snake because I don't have the knowledge to really tell which one is poisonous, which one is non-poisonous. I just know that the black snakes are the good snakes. They're not poisonous and they eat rodents. But if it has a shape or some type of pattern on it, I'm out of there. I ain't messing with it. So I'm gone.
All right, Tyler, we're coming right back at you for this one. Who wins in a fight, a polar bear or a rhino?
Now, a polar bear is of all the bears, you don't mess with the polar bear. And I think the polar bear is one of the most deadliest animals you can mess with. Now, a lot of people don't know the polar bear will stalk you. They will hide their nose in the snow and sneak up on you, and then you're done. So I would pick the polar bear, and obviously the rhino. I don't think they're on the same type of territory, different climate. But I'm always picking the polar bear. They're one of my favorite animals, by the way.
Jarrell, what do you got?
I think the rhino might have a chance. I'm not sure exactly where this fight is taking place at, but the last thing I'll say is I'm impressed by Tyler's. Now it sounds you need a job with Animal Planet, man. My God, Tyler, I learned some shit tonight, Tyler.
This is why he keeps getting the animal questions because he always has info to answer them. Listen, this has been the Field of 68 After Dark. This has been Last Call. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night, 11 o'clock.